What's going on, guys? It's Moontan back with an update to my Nightblade build that I use for open world and battlegrounds. The sets I'm using are Troll King's Guise, Impregnable, medium, running 4 pieces of Impen and 3 pieces of Well Fitted, 3 pieces of Prisoner Jewelry, 1 with Swift, 2 with Robust traits. On my backbar, I run the Prisoner's Greatsword with double dot poisons and the Decisive trait, which is almost like Werewolf Hide for generating ultimate, which is super good on a Nightblade because you want to get as many incaps as possible. If you want, probably the best in slot weapon would be running a Battle Axe just for those extra bleeds, because on a heavy tanky target, if you get the Axe bleed plus the double dot poisons plus the effects from the Master's Axe dual wield on the front bar with running slashes to boot, you're going to be having a lot of dot pressure. Now, some highlights of the build are, for the CP campaign, I run the Tower Mundus. If I was going to be playing in no CP campaign or playing Battlegrounds, I would switch this to the Serpent Mundus. I'm using Artaeum Takeaway Broth, which increases health regeneration and works really nicely with races such as Orc or Khajiit, because with Troll King and these bonuses, you will have some super high HP recovery, upwards of over 3k, which is super nice and is a great way to mitigate damage when you're being outnumbered or chased. Now, the main ability that I've changed here since the last patch is going to be Channeled Accelerate. I'm running that on my back bar as another buff to keep up. If you don't like this buff or you don't have the Psijic abilities unlocked yet, it's totally cool. You can still use Leeching Strikes as a spot, or in Shadow. If you like using Shadow Image, or it might be right for the type of fight you're in, you can also put Shadow Image in this slot too. Just to go over briefly what my back bar is, I keep Rally here, and this I solely like to keep it as mostly a buff bar because that helps me just know whether or not my buffs are up or down and lets me focus on being offensive on my offensive bar afterwards. So I got Rally, Channeled Acceleration, Shuffle, Shadowy Disguise, which is your cloak ability, Relentless Focus, and Werewolf. Now, if you want to get crazy, you could also try to do the Undo, preferably the one that gives you the minor protection instead of running Werewolf, but I still always enjoy Werewolf for the utility and just the extra stam recovery on my back bar because I am a Khajiit and sustain is a little sloppy on a Khajiit. Now on my front bar, we're going to have Rending Slashes, Killer's Blade. You could also run the dual-wield execute here, Steel Tornado, but I would still opt for running Killer's Blade. I like to run Vigor on my front bar. This is Fear or Mass Hysteria. Great way to drop targets who are blocking a lot, or you might need to catch in a CC for your incap. Surprise Attack, and then Incap. Incap is pretty much an ability you want to make sure that you hit through a CC, whether you open up like this, which would be, let me buff up, going in cloak, surprise attack, hitting them with an incap, running slashes, hitting them with a relentless focus if you have to, and then just start spamming your Killer's Blade, and hopefully they die. Now, some important things about this build, which are the reasons why I really made the build, is this build is made for kiting and staying mobile. With the addition of a Swift trait on the jewelry, I basically can just spam my cloak and just take off running and just get that energy back. So in between the times when you cloak, say I'll pop a potion even, the times you cloak, you can pretty much recover all of that energy, and as long as you're not marked or getting hit out of stealth, it gives you great ability to line of sight around features, to run around, and just keep a constant stream of Magicka, which is, as a dual-world two-hand user in open world, one of the main problems with having low Magicka recovery, so having the prisoners on the back bar kind of solves that problem. Now briefly, I'm going to go over my CP, and if you guys have any huge questions on CP, feel free to ask on my stream, because I'm mostly a streamer and I'm not making tons of YouTube content, even though I'm going to be producing a little bit more now. Just feel free to copy this exactly. If you don't like the way I have my CP, feel free. I want to highlight this one only, Physical Weapons Expert. I put a lot of points into here because light attacks can hit really hard, and sometimes when I've done some tests to see how much damage I did in a recount, in a duel, or even just hitting a dummy, my light attacks end up being one of my hardest hitting damages over time, which is great. So where this build excels specifically as a Khajiit is Khajiit have a bonus to hitting from stealth. So if you can imagine you're getting 10% increased damage from stealth, you're getting an automatic crit from Shadowy Disguise, plus I'm now using Channeled Acceleration, which helps me have minor force at all times. My critical damage is just really, really high. And if you can finesse enough, you can take targets down very, very, very well. So I'm just going to go over a couple important things and important tips for playing a Nightblade like this. One, like I said before, you want to stay mobile and you want to use that Magicka regeneration. Do not feel bad running from fights and using distance to keep your Magicka up. And importantly, keeping running slashes on them so they're slow while you're running away. Now the next thing is using Cloak to open up with Surprise Attack, Incaps, hitting with Rending Slash, and then if you need to, a Merciless, or just immediately go to hitting Killer's Blade until they die. Now if you haven't played a lot of Nightblade, one of the best tools wearing as a medium armor Nightblade is actually dodge, roll, animation canceling abilities. So when I roll forward, I can roll, dodge roll, and vigor. I can even hit in and just get any amount of damage you can while dodge rolling. Like I can hit that, dodge roll. I can do a heavy attack, rending slashes, dodge roll. And heavy attacks are super important. So you want to be in the person's face, heavy attacking a lot, making sure your light attack, animation canceling, your surprise attacks, and keeping that vigor up every 4 seconds. Add-ons that really help you keep your vigor up are things like Action Duration Reminder. As you can see, it keeps my buffs and I know exactly what's going to go down. One of my favorite things to do is once I build one of these, let me build another one real quick. So sometimes it might be right to, on my back bar, I'll hit with one of those, come in with an incap there, and then do my damage rotation into execution. It does a little bit less damage because you're using the Merciless proc outside of the incap damage bonus, but sometimes it's a really surprising way to DPS and kill a target really effectively. But for the most time, you're going to want to keep your rotation up, keep all of your buffs up, heal. If you notice that your buffs are going down, create some distance in the fight, reapply your buffs, come back to the fight, lead with a surprise attack, incap, Merciless, anything you need to do. But you can see that at all aspects, I can dodge roll Killer's Blade. And that's one of the most important things I think that people forget about playing a medium armor Nightblade, which makes them so powerful, especially looking into the next patch when they refactor some of the stats about Nightblades in general in medium armor, is dodge roll, animation canceling your abilities. Even if it's a light attack, even if it's a heavy attack, you just want to dodge roll, animation cancel as much as you can. Now if you're feeling like your sustain is pretty rough with that kind of combat style, definitely consider just putting Leeching Strikes back on over Channeled Acceleration, because this is how I've played most of it, and it really helps out with sustain. But overall, this has been my favorite open world build. It works great in no CP PvP as well for open world and battlegrounds. It's not really much of a dueling build because you could probably put more damage in and you don't really run around in duels. But for open world and BGs, it works great. Stay mobile, stay safe, make sure you're keeping your Magicka up, pay attention to how much Magicka you have in a fight. If you have to, I also keep other potions. So the nice thing about running a Channel Acceleration is I can actually, while I'm running away, use a tripod as long as I'm able to keep Channeled Acceleration up, because then that'll keep my speed bonus up, and then I'll have even more health recovery and regeneration of my Magicka to get away from a fight. Now, Don't forget that this is a high crit resistance build, about 4.8k crit resistance, so it makes you super tanky and a lot tankier than you would expect, and also a high health recovery build. When Troll King procs with Artane Takeaway Broth and all the other bonuses you get from being a Khajiit, it's just amazing. The best part about using the channel acceleration on the back bar now is when you're running away, you know a meteor is about to hit you or something. I can use this this damage shield from the Sigic line, which is right here. This is such a great passive, and that 5,000 damage really stretches your health pool by quite a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's about all I have for this build video. Please let me know how you like it and everything. I probably won't be uploading many compilation videos of my Nightblade gameplay, but I will still be streaming live on Twitch, so make sure you catch me there, twitch.tv/Moontan. Join the Discord, come hang out, ask questions, have fun out there, and remember, never stop moving, and you will never get zerged.